Do you feel like you're working non-stop but still not winning? Do you feel like your personal life is always taking a backseat to your business? And have you ever thought to yourself, what's the point of all of this if I'm always exhausted? Then this video is for you. Hi, I'm John. I'm a business coach, and for the last 30 years, I've managed, started, bought, sold, and coached businesses. I've started 3 businesses successfully, sold all of them, and achieved a top 10 place in South Africa's top 100 fastest growing companies. But success comes at a cost. I've lost over a week of my life, hospitalized twice for exhaustion, and nearly bankrupted on a failed business venture. So while I've enjoyed successes, I've experienced the very real pain of business ownership. Today, as a business coach, I work with business owners who are building great businesses and want to achieve the freedom and the life that they dream about. So today, I'm going to get a bit personal and talk to you about work-life balance, and specifically the biggest 7 lessons I've learned from it. Now, I'm not coming at this as someone who's figured it all out, who lives in perfect harmony with life every single day. No, far from it. I'm coming at this as someone who's messed it up, hit a wall, been hospitalized from burnout, lost many days of my life as a result, and had to seriously reevaluate how I was living. Okay, so let's get into it. The first lesson I've learned is that balance isn't about hours. It's about energy. Here's what I used to believe, that work-life balance meant dividing my time equally. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for life, 8 hours for sleep. But life doesn't work like that. Business doesn't work like that. Some days you work 12 to 16 hours, even more. Some days you barely get through the basics and can't even call it successful. And that's okay. What I've learned is that balance is about energy, not just about hours. If work drains you and you've got nothing left for your family, your health, your own peace of mind, then it's out of balance, even if you technically worked 8 or 10 hours. What helped me was I started tracking what gave me energy and what drained my energy. Some things I did took an hour, but left me feeling completely brain fried. Others took 3 hours, but it felt easy and it felt meaningful. That changed how I planned my days and what I did more of and what I did less of in my day. The next lesson that I learned was, if you don't schedule life, work will eat it up. There was a point where work filled every gap in my calendar. I planned meetings, projects, calls, and then I'll try to squeeze life around the edges of all of that. The lesson? Life doesn't fit into the leftovers. If I didn't schedule time for exercise, dinner with family, reading, hobbies, then guess what? Work would expand to fill every available slot. Now, I put life stuff into my calendar first. I treat personal time like a client meeting. It's completely non-negotiable. Here's an example. I book Friday afternoons for slow activity, a catch-up, a few phone calls, maybe you're reading or watching something that is non-business related. It's in the calendar and it's protected. And it reminds me that I run my business. The business doesn't run me. The next lesson I learned from suffering burnout is that burnout is expensive. People say, I'll rest when I'm successful, or that line from a song and a movie, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I think I used to say that too. I worked late, I skipped meals, I stayed on all the time because I thought that's what success required. Until one day I hit the wall, exhausted, short-tempered, grinding through the work with no joy, and hospitalized on a drip twice for a total of 7 days. A week of my life lost. Here's what hit me. Burnout costs more than the rest ever will. It costs you your health, your relationships, your creativity, and eventually it costs you your income too, because you're not thinking clearly, you're not performing, and your spark starts to fade. Now I treat rest and recovery as part of the work, not the reward after the work. The next lesson I learned is that your identity can't just be work. For a while, my whole identity was I'm the business owner and that's it. If I wasn't working, I felt guilty, like I was being lazy or letting people down. But here's the problem. If your entire identity is your business, then every win and every failure feels personal. You ride this emotional roller coaster that never stops. The big shift for me was when I realized that I am more than the work that I do. I'm a friend, a parent, a partner, a person. When I stopped tying my entire worth to business success, I actually became better at business and way more happier. The next lesson was a difficult one to get my head around at the time, but I get it now. And that's what you say yes to completely shapes your life. This was a turning point, realizing that every yes is a no to something else. Saying yes to one more late meeting, that's a no to a quiet evening. Saying yes to every single client request, that's a no to your own boundaries and sanity. Nowadays, I try to ask myself, yes, try, I don't always get it right. If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? That one question has saved me from so many self-inflicted pressure traps. It's crazy. It's not about no to everything. It's about being clear on what actually matters. Here's another lesson I learned. Work-life balance is seasonal. And that's okay. Because let's be real, balance doesn't look the same every week. Some days, some weeks, some seasons are full on hustle. Product launches, new clients, deadlines. Other times are slower. And you can breathe a bit. The trick is to know what season you're in and not feel guilty for adjusting your rhythm. If you're in a heavy work season, be honest about it. Communicate it. Plan some recovery time afterwards. If you're in a slower season, enjoy it without feeling guilty and without feeling like you're slacking off. Balance isn't static. It moves, and that's normal. Here's my last point for you, my last lesson. You teach people how to treat you. If you're always available, if you reply to emails at 11 p.m., if you say yes to every last minute thing, people will assume that that's your normal, and then they'll come to expect it. What I learned is that boundaries aren't rude. They're responsible behavior to me. Now I communicate my availability clearly. I set expectations up front, and guess what? Most people respect it because they see that I respect myself. If you don't set boundaries, you'll burn out. If you do set them, you'll build trust and you get your life back. So what's the biggest lesson I've learned about work-life balance? That it's not a destination, it's a practice. And practice means exactly that. It takes practice all the time. It's not about doing less. It's about doing the right things and protecting what matters. And balance makes you better at everything. Better at business, better at life. You don't have to choose one or the other. You just have to be intentional about how you do both. That's it. Thanks for letting me get a bit personal with you today. I hope this has helped you or at least given you something to think about. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. And if you've learned your own hard lessons about balance, message me. I'd love to hear your story. You're not alone in this. And remember, you've got this. You can do this. Here's the last thing. To find out how I can assist you in your business In the notes below are 2 links. One is to my website, johncrichtonbusinesscoach.com, to find out more about the programs I offer. And the other link is to book a free consultation with me. I'm looking forward to speaking to you soon or seeing you in the next video.